Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I want to talk about today a topic on why I don't follow most Western Duat. All right. And I want to have a disclaimer that this video is not attacking any callers of Islam in particular. So I know I have said other times in my videos um, criticize particular um, Muslims, that is Salafi pubs, and I never bite my tongue about them, how they have really destroyed the Dawah in the U.S. In particular, how they do not use Islam to empower majority of its followers who are African American Muslims, right? So I definitely do hold that opinion, but I want to give a disclaimer that I'm not speaking about any particular individuals right now or any particular callers of Islam, except for the ones that I already mentioned. Now, with getting ahead now, and I want to look at a post I wrote the other day, and I want to read it. I wrote this the other day on Facebook, and I added some people to it, right? So in this particular post, which I want to share actually right now on this live on Facebook. So this particular live, I want to share it in one or two of my groups, inshallah. Before I want to read the post, I read it. Why I don't follow most Western Duat, and in particular, in general, and Pacific, or in particular, the African American Duat. All right. So I'm speaking in general, and I'm speaking in particular. And as the disclaimer I have said, I'm not here attacking any particular du'at or call of Islam, right? So I want to read my post, and then let's try and allow my computer to do its work by sharing. So I have written yesterday, which I want to read, why I don't listen or follow most Western du'at, Muslim callers to Islam, especially the Black American du'ats who don't use Islam to empower their oppressed people in the US. And I've written talk is cheap, and many haven't built anything or established anything for Islam that is tangible, right? Tangible and permanent change because they really don't have the know-how or understand or study the condition and psyche of the people. Most are just traveling preachers and self-taught who mimic in speech, meaning that people they like or scholars they see, they just mimic them, but don't have the know-how to build any establishments. Rather, it's a school, institution of education or financial or the economy or economics, community or multiplicity, meaning districts, cities, towns, whatever. Many don't know how to make decent, strong Muslim students / followers due to not understanding how to educate. Why many of them don't have or build their own community, but look to work in build or makeshift communities, right? Communities already built or makeshift communities, which I call them corner store masjids. Rather, many want to be or are just religious celebrities hustlers, basically, right? So I've written that they don't bring any tangible changes to the Muslim community. And in particular, I'm speaking about the African American community. They don't bring nothing tangible, right? They don't bring anything tangible to the table. And like I said, I'm not speaking about any particular person, right? They don't bring anything tangible. And they don't have the know-how, meaning that they don't have the leadership abilities. And I have mentioned at the end, I consider that a lot of them are religious hustlers. Religious hustlers, man. They are just religious hustlers, Muslim celebrities. Um, some of them are traveling preachers. You know, a lot of people might not know this term, a traveling preacher, but a traveling preacher is in reference to preachers, especially in America, who don't have his own community, like church. Preachers who didn't have their own church, they just travel to other churches and they don't have their own community, right? And they don't build anything. And that's where the term really comes from, right? The traveling preachers and religious hustlers, right? And I want to give you a little bit example of what I'm speaking about, right? Like today, one of my associates, who me and him had a lot of discussions about this topic. I'm gonna try to make the video short because Margaret is gonna come in. But we have this conversation on um, most YouTubers, Muslim YouTubers, right, who teach Islam or on social media in general. We don't listen to them, right? Me and him was talking about how we don't listen to them. And the reason why we don't listen, this is my view, my experience, myself, I'm not speaking for nobody else. Anna Abu Bara, why I don't listen to them, and my companion was explaining the same reason we were talking about, because many of them on YouTube or on social media like YouTube don't get into the real issues related to the religion. And I'm not saying save a few, all right? Save a few. But my experience and my companion experience is different because we understand a lot about the Arabic language, right? We understand a lot about the Arabic language. So it's easier to listen to the scholars on the Arabic language side. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying the Arab sheikh or the Arab scholar, but on the Arabic language side of the religion is more thorough. It's more detailed. It's more information. All right. It's more information. And then anybody who enters into the field or the studies of Talab al-Ilm, seeking knowledge, and you understand Arabic language, then you know that most of your seeking or your learning and your development as a student of knowledge is not going to be through the English language. You're going to knock that out. You're going to knock that out the window right now, right? You know, so I can't afford, as my companion, can't afford to listen to the English speakers who, in some cases, who are educated, have the qualifications to teach religion, but when they teach to people, they have to repeat a lot of things. And that's part of teaching and educating. And at the same time, a lot of people from the layman Muslim, you're not going to reach these levels where they're able to study religion in Arabic language, where how it needs to be actually taught. So the student of knowledge, the one who's qualified, is going to make sure that when he's preaching, he's going to teach to the people in their language, their mother language, so they can get the good foundation of the religion. All right. So that's one reason why I don't listen to many dua in English if they're qualified. If they're qualified, they always have to repeat things to the layman Muslim, and that goes with the etiquettes and the al-mas'uliyah and the responsibilities of a good student of knowledge and shaykh, right? He has to always go back to the layman Muslim and make sure they understand the fundamental things about the religion in their mother language. When somebody listens to him and they want more, then you hear them talk about learning language, going away and studying Deen, learning Arabic language, going away studying Deen, and studying universities and studying with proper people, right? So on and so forth. The next group of individuals that I'm speaking about, all right, which I'm not going to name any names except for the ones I mentioned already, are religious hustlers. We have a lot of religious hustlers in our on YouTube, on social media, all right. And this is why I kind of step back personally. If anybody is familiar with me on social media like Facebook, I have my website where I've been translating things for years from Arabic into English, but I step back a little bit of preaching to focus on learning, learning, right? Focus on learning, right? And I already have a bio about my studies, right? It's already on YouTube somewhere, right? Places I've been to and different teachers I learned from, right? So me personally, I don't have time to listen to this anybody personally, right? And then I mentioned the second group of people, or the second group, who are religious hustlers, right? They are just religious hustlers. They have enough of they know one. They have enough to get people to listen to them, right? They might have a way of speaking where they're able to cultivate and capture the people attention with how they preach and how they speak, right? And I don't want to drop any names, right? But they might not have all the knowledge. All the knowledge is not there. They don't have it. We have a lot of this. This is the majority where I see on social media, correct? Like for example, associate sent me today this video, right? And this guy is using the verse in Quran where Allah says, وَيُنْشِئُ سَحَابَ السَّحَابَ الثَّقَالَ, right? And how about how Allah made the clouds heavy, or with meaning with rain, right? So, and the person was talking about it, very good intellectual speaker, got the words, and he says Allah hold the clouds, even though it's full of rain. And I'm like, why you use the verb hold? Because Allah didn't use the verb hold. Because in English language, the word hold as the verb means to hold something that is a burden or a load that's too heavy, right? So in the translation of this ayat, yunshi'u doesn't mean hold, right? He got a lot of view in his video. This is on Instagram. He got a lot of views. Allah says yunshi'u. Yunshi'u don't mean hamal or hamala. Yunshi'u doesn't mean to hold something. Some people might translate it. They translate it, I think some translation says to rise, to raise. He raised the skies heavy, meaning with rain. But in tafsir, and I have the tafsir in front of me in Arabic, it says, Insha'u Allahu sahab. All right? It says that Allah made the skies or the clouds with rain, or heavy with rain, meaning with rain. It means rain, all right? It doesn't say Allah hold the sky, all right? And then there's other verses in the Quran pertaining to the word sky, for example. Another verse, Alam tara inna Allah yuzji sahaban. Right? Sahaban thumma yu'allifu bainahu. Right? So even in this verse, it says, does you not see that how Allah, right, drove the clouds or joined them together? Allah doesn't use the word hold. To hold something in Arabic means al-hamala, right? It means like to hold the burden, right? The verb in Arabic. So, for example, the guy got a lot of hits on his YouTube or Instagram, a lot of hits. He sound very intellectual, but when I listen to what he is saying and the words he's using in English and the actual verses, no, I see that's not correct. The words that he's using, and this is why I don't follow a lot of uh, uh, YouTube or social media Muslims or preaching. Right, I don't follow a lot of them, and this is one of the reasons why. Right, and unfortunately, I was listening to him. A lot of people, somebody shared it with me today. I'm like, Allah doesn't say He hold the sky. He doesn't use that wording in Arabic. The word to hold in Arabic means to hamal, or hamala, right? Meaning to hold something that is a burden. And then if you look up the word in Arabic, hamala Allahu, for example, you're going to see these actually in Arabic are verses from Kitab al-Qudus, the Bible. From Christians, they use this terminology in the Bible, in the Arab Christians, for example, right? But even though the word hold in English have different meanings, I hold you accountable for what you do. Hold here is a noun. But in this verse, the guy was describing, he using hold as the verb, for example. And I said, that doesn't sound right to me. And even the verses in Quran is not using a verb. If I was the verses in the Quran, when I translate it, or interpretate what it means in English, it doesn't mean to hold. Allah hold the sky. It doesn't interpretate to that. It means Allah created the sky with rain. That's an interpretation, for example, right? Then the next issue that I want to make this too long, I'm gonna go to maybe 5 more minutes. I want to pray Maghrib. A lot of the Muslim du'at or people claim to be in dawah. We need to start defining what is a da'i, what is a caller to Islam, and then we have to start understanding that a da'i, and du'at is the plural. The da'i doesn't mean alim, doesn't mean alim. The da'i don't translate to mean a alim, a scholar. All right, doesn't mean a scholar. Right? So I understand that some du'at, some callers, they might have they might have mistakes with them in that, but a lot of the layman Muslim take the da'i or the du'at, the ones who will call it as being al-ulama. Yeah, they're not the ulama. Especially when we go to Facebook and YouTube, and the YouTubers will have these channels and spaces on social media where they're calling to Islam. Majority of them, they're not even, I don't consider the majority of them to be students of knowledge, except a few. They're definitely not scholars, except a few. And most of you guys are taking these callers as being an alim, which is incorrect. That is incorrect to do. And the brother Islam is truth, I see your question, but I'm not making this video about the question you were asking, but I do acknowledge you asked me a question, right? I do acknowledge it, but I don't want to talk about that, because if I mention somebody's name, somebody's going to be upset that I didn't mention their personality name, right? And so that's why I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to answer your question, Islam is truth. I do recognize you asking me a question, but I'm not going to answer it, because if I say somebody's name that you should learn from, people are going to be upset. Why you didn't mention this person or that person and this person and this person? And I don't want to create that type of atmosphere. That's why I put the disclaimer in the beginning of the video. I made my disclaimer. All right. So then next, what I really wanted to do, the purpose of this video, but when somebody sent me this link right before I did the video, this link to this Instagram video, which is very nice. I like the guy articulate when he said Allah holds the sky, holds the clouds, and they're heavy, right? I'm like, the ayat doesn't use the word hold. Even the interpretation of the interpretation of the ayat in English, it doesn't use the word hold. It means to make. Allah made the clouds with rain, right? And even some of the translation, it says Allah arise the clouds, right? Because even the word yanshi'u come from, I believe, nasha'a. It means to arise or to grow, right? Or to cultivate, right? And there's many ways to use this particular verb in Arabic, right? Nashaytu budun abi wa ana sagir. I grew up without my father when I was small, right? There's different ways to use this particular verb, right? And its meaning in Arabic, right? But when I seen this, I thought about the link or the post I written last night. The next thing I want to mention before I end the live, that we have a lot of, in our community, a lot of traveling preachers in the Muslim community. They're not linked to any community. They're not linked to any particular masjid. They're not linked. And some brothers who give dawah don't want to, and I understand why, right? Because they don't want people in the masjid or a board to control them in their dawah. So I'm not talking about these type of brothers, for example, but there's some people who they make their livelihood as being like this, the traveling preacher, I call them. The traveling sheikh, the traveling imam, and never is fixed into one community. Sometimes they go from one masjid to the next masjid to the next masjid, and they don't build and they don't establish anything. They don't establish anything in the community, right? They don't establish anything inside the community, right? And the reason why I mention it is because I've been Muslim since I was 20 years old. Alhamdulillah, I'm 44 now, right? I've been Muslim since I was 20 years old. So I mean, I've been Muslim for 20 years. And I've seen a lot of celebrity imams and hustlers, imams who are hustlers, people who be hustling deen. I've seen a lot of them come and go. Some of them are still around. And even you have some of the brothers, Trish and I was coming up with Salafi pubs, a lot of the brothers wanted to be like the hustling imams, the celebrity imams. And even when they went to learn Islam, it's to be a celebrity imam. I've been through those phases with people. I've seen all of this. And I've seen brothers come and go. I've seen many people come and go and didn't establish anything. I have even seen people come and go, celebrity imams, hustling religion. I've seen some of them fall off the deen, apostates, fall off, or ended up into sins and transgressions, or abandoned learning and preaching their religion altogether. Because a new trend came to make money, or a new hustle came to make money, and they follow the trends. They follow those particular trends. All right. Then the next group I want to talk about is the ones who do not establish anything. We have especially the personalities online, on social media, the celebrity imams and du'at that don't have any leadership abilities. They don't have a good understanding of Islam. They can make nice arguments. They can make nice videos. They can edit videos real nice. And they can make nice videos and they can edit and they can preach a little bit good. And they have enough of the Islam or enough of the Arabic or enough of the Quran to cultivate people. But they cannot build anything. And as years pass, you will find that they haven't built anything. And some of them have caused problems and separation within the Muslim community. Sometimes, as the traveling preacher, they go to other communities and they cause fitna and more division and more problems due to the people who invite them don't have a solid foundation in the religion, are not tulabul on, don't have scholars with them, and they think that anybody who's popular on social media is gives him automatically give him status of being some sheikh. You have a lot of that, especially from the Salafi publication and the associate communities. You have a lot of that. Matter of fact, in their community, that's in plain eyesight. You can see that it's in plain eyesight. I like to mention their names in plain eyesight. Sheikh Hassan Samali, Sheikh where? What makes a person a sheikh in Islam? Sheikh Umar Khwen. What makes a person a sheikh in Islam? What makes a person to get the title to be a sheikh in Islam? What type of qualification does this person have? What regimens of learning the religion did they go through where they learned Islam from scholars? And I'm not talking about people who go for seminars in Saudi for a couple of weeks that are mostly translated. I'm not speaking about somebody who went to Damaj for 6 months and automatically they're sheikh and shuyukh, this and that. So it shows that the layman Muslim who are following people and following personalities, you when it comes to understanding the science of Islam, what are positions of different scholars and different peoples in a du'at and tulabul, you don't know. And this is why you're labeling people who are just a da'i, the ones who give dawah, you think he's the alim, you think he's the sheikh now. The da'i is not the sheikh in most cases. Every shuyukh is a da'i. Every shuyukh is a da'i. Every scholar from the kibar ulama, from the major scholars and their students, all of them are in some form or fashion a da'i, a du'at, or the du'at, the callers of Islam. Every scholar is the da'i. Every scholar is a da'i, but every da'i is not a scholar. I say it again. Every scholar is a da'i, but every da'i is not a alim. It's not a sheikh. I'm not sheikh. Every da'i is not a sheikh. And the problem in America, especially with the Muslim, every da'i, you see them as being sheikh. This is incorrect. And you don't know the conditions. What makes a person a scholar? I know my internet is slowing around right now. That's the sign for me to go and make this salah, right? So every caller is not a scholar, but every scholar of Islam is a da'i in some form or fashion. Every alim, all the ulama, all the scholars of Islam, in some form or fashion, they are callers to this. But every da'i is not a sheikh. Every imam in the masjid, is not a da'i. Even sometimes the imam in the masjid who lead the salah, this is the imam, right? Sometimes he's not a da'i. He's just somebody who has Quran with him, right? Every imam in the masjid doesn't mean he's a sheikh. I guess I'll say that again. Every imam who lead the salah doesn't mean that he's a sheikh. Doesn't mean that he's a sheikh. But in the West, with the Muslim, anybody who wears gutra, jalabiya, kullu shaks عندهم لحية, every person that has a beard, yalbis quba Islamiyya, wears some type of Islamic head garment, you think he is a alim, he's a sheikh, he's a alim in the religion. Even the word alim and sheikh don't have the same meaning, because every sheikh is not an alim. That's another thing, right? All right, but every alim is a sheikh, but every sheikh is not an alim, right? Every sheikh is a tulabul ilm, or students of knowledge, right? But every tulabul ilm is not a sheikh. Every tulabul ilm is not a sheikh. But every sheikh, hakikan, the real meaning of sheikh, somebody has found strong foundations in the religion of Islam, and Islamic knowledge, Islamic sciences. Every sheikh is a tulab al but every tulab al are not sheikh. And then every sheikh have different, sheikh itself have different levels. The tulab al that are sheikh, all of them are not from the Kibala ulima. All of them are not from the major scholars, but every major scholar is a sheikh. Right? Every major scholar is a sheikh. But from every, you have some sheikh on high level, right? Every person who's a sheikh don't mean they on a high level. Every sheikh doesn't mean they from the major scholars. You have sheikh on different levels when it comes to knowledge, right? And because we don't understand these different sciences and terminology, we run with these words. So anybody who has a nice platform on YouTube, we call them sheikh, but you don't know. Does this person have a qualification? Does he have a degree in Islam? Does he have a master's? Does he have his PhD? You know, every big sheikh, well-known sheikh, big sheikh, I can mention some names. Sheikh Fawzan. I know people love Sheikh Fawzan. He's doctor. All right, people love, Salafi pubs love to talk about Sheikh Rabi al-Makhali. Sheikh Rabi has his PhD. So when you call in somebody like Hassan Somali, you mean Sheikh Hassan Somali? He's like Sheikh Fawzan? Come on, man. Sheikh in what field? Umar Quinn. They call him Sheikh Umar Quinn. Sheikh Umar Quinn, man, this guy never been like 5 years, 10 years studying no knowledge in the Muslim world with a scholar. How he get the title of Sheikh? Sheikh in what field? Sheikh in what field? Sheikh Fawzan, I'm always going to say this. Sheikh Fawzan's specialty is the Sharia law. That's where his PhD come from. Sheikh Rabi al-Makhali, Hafidhullah, y'all love Sheikh Rabi, right? Sheikh Rabi has his bachelor's in Sharia law, and his PhD is in Hadith. He kharaja min Kulliyat Hadith. He graduated from the Kulliyat Hadith. He has his PhD. That's why he's doctor. What Umar Quinn has? What does Umar Quinn have? He has his bachelor's in Islamic science. Sheikh Hassan Somali, does he got his bachelor's at least? In what field? Umar Quinn, what is his field? What is his field? I know guys that get mad when I say this. What is his field? Sheikh Rabi field is Hadith. Sheikh Muslim Nabad field is Hadith. Sheikh Nasruddin Albani field is Hadith. Sheikh Luhidan field is Sharia law. Sheikh Salih Uthaymeen, Rahimahullah, his field is Sharia Hadith. Sharia. His field is Sharia. That's his specialty, Sharia. Sheikh Fawzan, specialty, Sharia, which means also fiqh. Within its fiqh, right? So, Sheikh Umar Quinn, what's his specialty? Sheikh Hassan Somali, what's his specialty? What's his specialty? What are people's specialties? And this is the thing, and this is where I have to end. Everybody who has a platform or talk about deen doesn't mean they should be people who are followed. It's more important that you know and that you learn. I'm going to end with this note, that you learn who are the qualified students and qualified scholars. And you have to start learning what makes a person qualified. No problem asking the person, what is your qualification? Do you have a degree in Islamic science? And if you ask these questions and they get upset, no student of knowledge should be upset when somebody asks them, what are your qualifications? A student of knowledge should be able to tell the peoples what is his qualifications, so the people will know and understand what is his level. Because if he doesn't have any, then you know that he doesn't have a real level. And then you'll start noticing everybody who speak about the deen Some of them should not be followed. This is why I changed my platform online to focus more on social issues. To focus on what? Social issues on my people and using Islamic solutions. But I'm not going to mention names, who you should follow. I'm not going to mention these names, right? Because the brother did ask, Islam is truth, I recognize, but I'm not gonna say this because even this question, if I mention somebody's name, somebody's gonna come to say to me, okay, but what, you didn't mention this person. What about this person? I'm not gonna do that. I personally not gonna do that. But it should be on you as the one who's listening. It's on you to understand the religion, meaning that you have to start understanding what are the proper qualifications and levels related to levels in Islam related to teachers, sheikh, ustad, professors. What these words mean? What are these qualifications? Because in the West, the Muslims don't know what these words mean. The layman Muslim and people who are the Muslim celebrities and the religious hustlers, they take advantage because you guys don't know what makes a person a scholar, what makes a person student knowledge, and you start just giving people the title of sheikh, and you don't even know the qualification. And they use this as an advantage over you. Where I find people even fighting over individuals who are no sheikh, no scholar, and they give them, oh, this is this sheikh so-and-so, Sheikh Fulan. What is his qualification? What's his specialty? I don't know. They don't know. Then why you argue about somebody and you're forcing the Muslims to follow this person and you don't know his qualification and his background? Wallahi, this is the issue of the mukhalid. This is the issue of the blind followers. What blind followers do. They just follow people, don't even, and in Islam, it's not even permissible in Islam. Even as a mukhalid, even as a blind follower, it's not permissible for the blind follower in Islam to follow somebody who is ignorant about the religion, somebody who's not a scholar, somebody who doesn't have qualification. And if you start understanding these things and these basic principles in usulu fiqh, because the mukhalid laysa min ahlu ilm, the mukhalid is not from the people of knowledge. And hadha kalam Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and other scholars of the past, the blind follower is not a scholar. So who do the blind follower follow? He follow a alim. And some forms of blind following is not permissible. You must learn about religion. That's another opinion. But the scholars who say the certain forms of blind following is permissible. For example, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلُ ذِكْرَ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of reminder if you don't know. That's a proof for it. Ayat in Quran. Meaning ask somebody who is knowledgeable, a alim, a sheikh. Right? So it's not permissible to blind follow people who are not alim. Allah didn't say go ask people who are like you on your level. He didn't say go ask the people who are just famous Muslims. He didn't say go ask the people who are religious hustlers. He didn't say go ask the people where you don't know their qualifications are. It's everybody call them sheikh, but you don't know what makes him a sheikh. Because everybody is calling him that. And then they have, oh, there's no degree? No, not even a bachelor's in Islamic science? Oh, okay. Even Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, who had tazkiyah. But when Sheikh Albani, he had tazkiyah. But when he was in Saudi, you know, some of the big scholars came to debate with him. The big scholars came to debate with him, like Sheikh Muslim Nabad. And Sheikh Albani was letting him have it. When the scholars debate, why scholars debate with him? To see if he's really learned or not. See, the thing how you know a person is learned is not what he claimed he memorized or what he claimed he knows, is actually what he actually knows. That's why scholars debate people. That's when you see a person, for example, in the related to the Islamic field or Islamic subjects, university level, when they go for their theses, right? When they go for their theses, right? For their master's degree or their PhD, right? They go for their theses. That's why the scholars, they ask them questions. They ask them questions to see if they're confused, to see do they really understand the topic. And they ask them questions to confuse them. And if you don't believe me, outside of the masters or your thesis, just look at the bio of Imam Bukhari, right? When the people of knowledge tested to see where his level was at. They asked him about multiple different narrations related to the Isnad. He said, I don't know, I don't know. He keep on saying he don't know. And that showed that he had because they made up some things to mess him up, to confuse him. And him saying he don't know showed that he had the right? That's why scholars do this, to see the other people's level. But you guys, you don't have the to do this. So you don't have the knowledge to do this, right? And you just relying on YouTube, Facebook, social media platform just because somebody got the name Sheikh in front of his name. And you don't have an understanding, what is this? What is this person's qualifications? No, and with this, no student of knowledge should be ashamed to show and tell the people his qualifications, his level, because if he can't prove it, and he does show in this little, you can see, oh, that's why you're not a sheikh. Oh, you're not a sheikh, bro. You're just a caller to Islam. Oh, you have a what? Master degree? Okay. You know, you have this? Oh, PhD? Okay. And that's another whole topic for another day. That's another topic itself within itself. But at least you should know what are qualifications. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik wa shalla ma'ant wa astaghfirullah wa tubu ilayk. And if you like this video, please click like. It does help with the videos. And I'm working on another video real soon, related to the same topic. And inshallah, I'll have this book out soon. Inshallah, on the etiquettes of seeking knowledge by Sheikh Saleh Al Fawzan, with an addition in the book from different writings about the charlatan sheikh, the fake sheikh, the milk sheikh. Sheikh Fawzan Hafidullah speaks a lot about this. So inshallah, I will have the book out soon. So I just let people and remind people about this particular topic. Barakallahu fikum.